From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. I'm Dianne Parker. Jason has our Wednesday forecast. Plus, Sealy-Swan Valley residents want to secede from Missoula County. But first, our top story. The cause of death is being released for 3 people found dead Sunday in a garage in Bozeman. Officials now saying accidental acute carbon monoxide intoxication is to blame. Gallatin County Sheriff Dan Springer said 2 women and 1 man were found dead in a garage that contained a motor vehicle. The 3 victims who resided in Bozeman were identified as 29-year-old Thomas Rosales, 31-year-old Heidi Noj Lopez, and 26-year-old Dora Perez Kushkush. A shooting threat put the Browning Public Schools on heightened alert Tuesday. The threat stated that people would be shot on September 26. It even went on to name students and staff who may be targeted. Browning Schools Superintendent says Blackfeet Law Enforcement Services was contacted immediately, and school officials are working with law enforcement to assess and address the source and the credibility of that threat. District officials say they will remain in a heightened state of alert until they have fully resolved the situation. We are told an individual has been identified and they're working to make the final confirmation. New this noon, Whitefish voters said yes to 2 proposed Whitefish High School bonds. There are 2 separate bonds, a $26.5 million bond to expand Whitefish High School and a $6.1 million bond to expand its adjacent athletic complex. The building expansion bond passed by 56%. The bond will provide additional classrooms and labs to support increasing enrollment, a learning kitchen, and multi-purpose spaces. The athletic improvement bond passed by 51% and will provide modern district-owned venues, including a new track and field and football field. Meanwhile, in Cascade Public Schools, the 2014 technology levy was not renewed this year, with voters shooting down the idea this past spring. That has the school preparing for a shortfall in its budget, implementing higher technology fees for parents to help cover costs. It costs taxpayers around $18 per year. This left the district short $250,000. Parents recently saw bills for technology fees, $30 per elementary student and $50 per high school student, as district officials say they are working to shore up that budget.
So that was where the idea of increasing some of these fees came about. Is what if the technology levy comes about next year and we don't pass it again? What if it comes out the year after that and we don't pass it again? At that point, we pretty much ran out all of our money, and so now it's how do we recoup some of that? And that's what we're trying to do, is be good stewards to say we foresee that there's going to be a shortfall. How do we prepare for that shortfall?
And the school hopes voters reinstate the technology level this coming spring. The city of Kalispell has a water issue after high PFAS levels were detected in April. PFAS is manufactured forever chemicals that can cause adverse health effects like cancer. MTN's Sean Wells met with the EPA and the city at a joint press conference and has the very latest.
Congress set aside money specifically for emerging contaminants like PFAS. PFAS has been found here in Kalispell.
Changes and improvements are coming to the city of Kalispell water supply thanks to $20 million in funding awarded to the city through the bipartisan infrastructure law. Kalispell Public Works Director Susie Turner says a new water tower is nearing completion off Highway 93.
It's a 1 million gallon elevated water tower. It's about 85% complete. We anticipate completion, final completion, to be next spring.
In the meantime, the city of Kalispell has implemented a temporary water treatment plan that helps eliminate PFAS. The temporary vessels sit at the site of the Grandview wells, which tested PFAS levels above the EPA threshold.
There's 12 vessels, and it actually treats both of our Grandview wells, a total of about 1,800 gallons per minute.
Turner says the allocated funding will come in phases, helping the city replace the 2 Grandview wells over the next 2 to 3 years. She said engineers are looking for potential well sites throughout the city.
Ensure that we have the pristine water quality that our community deserves. And then we will move forward with the sited locations once we know that they're good water quality and they can offset and replace the existing wells we have.
EPA Region Administrator Casey Becker says the city is not required to meet new EPA PFAS standards until 2029.
They've been really proactive about addressing PFAS and really building out a system for the growth that is here and is going to continue to happen.
In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
Very active weather day for Montana and Wyoming. Not so much here or here, but right through here. Tommy Boy reference for you. But as you can see, this swirl in the atmosphere, that's that area low pressure bringing locally heavy rain to parts of central and southeastern parts of Montana. Lots of rain from Chester southward all the way toward Fort Benton and getting closer to Great Falls as well, especially in central Montana, Fergus County especially. Over 3 1/3 inches of rain in Grass Range just to the east of Lewistown, and more of that rain before between Geyser and Lewistown currently, and plenty of rain from areas around Sweetgrass and Stillwater County through Yellowstone and Rosebud. And we're not done yet. I'll have a complete 7-day forecast coming up.
We're learning new details this noon surrounding a deadly crash that took the lives of a mother and son at a busy Billings intersection. Police say 32-year-old Ricky Buchanan fled police, crashing his SUV into 78-year-old Shirley Rogers and her 54-year-old son Shane at 24th and Broadwater. The crash injured 4 additional people in another car, including an infant child. Now, 5 days later, Buchanan appeared in court, facing a $1 million bond, pleading not guilty to 8 felony offenses for this crash and the events leading up to it. And we're also learning he has a lengthy criminal record, a current fugitive out of Mississippi. The victims, Shirley and Shane Rogers, lived in Billings. Shirley was described to us as a beloved member of the Aspen View retirement community, a positive light, someone always smiling.
I mean, we're used to people going in the ambulance and all of that, but not when you're vital and on the out with your son. And so, yeah, everybody sort of can't believe it.
And employees tell MTN News Shane Rogers would try to visit his mom daily. She was his top priority. The state of Montana is receiving $3.6 million to support programs that help victims of crime. The Montana Board of Crime Control will receive just over $3 million, and the Montana Department of Justice is receiving $640,000 to go towards providing financial assistance to eligible victims of state and federal crimes. Last week, residents of the Sealy-Swan Valley reached out to MTN News, sharing their desire to secede from Missoula County. MTN's Emily Brown looks into how this would potentially work.
Missoula County is the 4th largest county in the state of Montana. It spans approximately 2,600 square miles from Condon to Evero, Alberton, and Lolo. And as of the 2020 census, there are approximately 117,000 people living in Missoula County. However, some individuals in the Sealy-Swan Valley think that their rural area's time in Missoula County is up, and they've started a petition to secede.
It's the areas outside the city of Missoula that we feel like we're paying a high price and we're not getting the services.
Ted Morgan is frustrated about the cost of Missoula County taxes and says he doesn't see his dollars fixing roads near his home in Condon.
We've had a lot of problems with our county road maintenance over the past 2 years, and we've also had a problem with our rural infrastructure. We have bridges out from Sunset all the way down to Cold Creek. We have bridges that are weight limited and Boy Scouts closed.
Morgan and other Sealy-Swan Valley residents are gauging local interest in seceding from Missoula County.
People who lived here for generations, such as Carrie, who put up that petition on change.org, they're worried about the future of their kids and their kids after that. And I think with areas that are more rural, you look at Lake County and you look at Powell County, you have lower property taxes because they're less extravagant.
As per Montana state law, secession from a county can happen in multiple ways. One would be joining a neighboring county.
You need a petition signed by the residents in that area. It's presented to both boards of county commissioners who place it on the ballot, and both the receiving county and the sending county have to vote yes. So the receiving county has to say, yes, we'll take you, and the county that you're leaving has to say that it's okay for you to go. And that is a vote of the entire population of the county.
Missoula County Chief Administration Officer Chris Lounsbury says another would be forming an entirely new county, which is not a simple task.
You have to have 500 acres of non-federal, state, or tribal land. You have to have an incorporated city inside there, which becomes the county seat automatically. Right now, there is no incorporated city in that area, so you also then have to meet the incorporated city threshold, 300 people in every square mile. That's really hard to meet in a rural area.
If residents of a rural area want more control of where their tax money goes, then they would need to incorporate a town.
Incorporation would give us the ability to get our taxes and spend them where we want. A county seat needs to be in an incorporated town. So the only place in this area that I think could truly be incorporated would be Sealy Lake.
Morgan sees the Secession area as being from Bonner to Condon. But if that large section leaves, would there be a financial burden on what remains in Missoula County?
We would lose a portion of the federal taxes that we get because those are proportional based on federal lands. Those new communities would gain those. For Missoula, it also means we would not have to provide services, right? So the services that we have to provide would also reduce correspondingly with those tax dollars.
For those with concerns about the state of their community inside Missoula County, Lounsbury says the county's ears are open and residents can discuss issues at community council meetings and bring them to county commissioners. In Missoula County, Emily Brown, MTN News.